Sisters of Divine Compassion. At least some of this. Pace University, August 12, Saturday. Here's the chapel. And stop, I want to thank them. Thank the guards. Chad Franklin says it's like our fireplace. This is Foyer's store. Office max, white out. He won't take calls. Look at the people walking around with the big shopping bags full. Michael Foyer's name is on the front of Office Max. He won't even take calls when it's a good call. That one order that was in front of me, it cost $166. Now without the 20% off, shopping bag in there, and if you take the, and it's not a shopping bag, it's a brown paper bag, and if you fill it up, you get 20% off. And Michael Foyer's name is on the bag, and Nina was there. And she says she and Orlease are the only ones that are left. The clock, White Plains Railroad Station. White Plains Beautification Committee. Battle Hill, Battle of White Plains. This is where Alexander Hamilton became known to George Washington, and it started his rise. The British marched up from Scarsdale, 5 miles up the post road. And all these little rubber men along here. This work is almost over. I wish they would pick up the rubber men and widen the road. This is the bridge over the Bronx River, and because it's a Robert Moses Parkway, it has to have this elaborate stone wall. When the British marched up here, the White Plains, the Battle of White Plains, George Washington, it was Halloween, October 1776. It was funny how those people with that great big $166 order, shopping cart full, saw me standing there behind them with one item. It wouldn't say go ahead. We're going through the Garth Woods now. Everything is so green because of the excess of rain. The other bridge they fixed, and thank heavens that one is done and people are gone. The Bronx River is right there, but everything is so lush green you can't see it. Look at those pretty purple flowers. This is the Hutchison Parkway, and Anne Hutchison's dates are 1591 to 1643. Watch the door locks, folks. See that? And now it's locked. Hooray! $45. It needed an actuator. I have 5 actuators now. 3 of them are no good and 2 of them are... Now you remember the 3 blossoms I showed you? The 3 pumpkin blossoms were so big. Look at them now. All closed up. Now how do they do that? Do they have muscles? Do they have ligaments? Do they have tendons? Do they have nerves? But they're all closed. Franklin and I are in the process of finishing up Glendora versus the New York Law Journal. These pages have been copied. Those pages are to be copied. I've done the informer papyrus and the service by Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rule 4D. I've done the address list. What is next? Well, I can do the self-addressed stamped envelopes. Okay, and then I could do the big envelopes. And then we could make the master and finish printing it. Wrapping Lori Galgano's tapes of Hidden Truth and sending them back to her. I picked them up for her in Queens and in Yonkers. It's Staples copy paper, makes wonderful wrapping paper. It's too good to recycle it. But the person who helps me do that at Staples is gone for a month. Sunday chore is the laundromat. They're washing, in addition, the rugs to the 1990s. So I'm going to go home and try to print some on Glendora versus the New York Law Journal. For not telling you, the public. Franklin said that he could put the laundry out of the washer and into the dryer. So I came home to make time on this, Glendora versus the New York Law Journal, to make 10 sets of about 60 pages. And I'm on page 34, so we're getting there. It has to be served tomorrow, Monday, August the 14th. This is a lot of work and a lot of time. Maybe we should get a bigger copying machine. But I won't go to Staples now because the person I like to have copy things isn't there. All you can do is try it out, test it out, get it done. A very fine copy machine is a Canon. This is a Consumer Report, just like this Canon product, this Canon camera. Franklin asked why didn't I sue the editor and the editor-in-chief and a few others. No, this is the limit. He makes beautiful copies, as you can see. So this part of the job is to get it copied up to 40 pages. My mother taught me if you have a big job to do, to compart it. Make it into small jobs, and it'll get done that way. That's the way she used to do spring house cleaning, and she had great big houses, 14 rooms or more. The next compartment will be 41 to 55, and then 56 to the finish. And then stuff it in those 9 by 12 envelopes and seal it and serve it tomorrow. It's a tedious job, but it's a good opportunity to pray. Just as when you're waiting for red traffic lights. That's a good opportunity to praise and appreciate God and the wonderful world given, and to think of the things that you have to do for God. Over here are the papers to read to you. The videotaping is way behind. The cable TV journal is way behind. There's the last one of this group. And now, go back and get the laundry and rush to church.
At our prayers, I received word this past week that a little tiny slum in Buenos Aires, a place where I worked for some time, a situation near the harbor in Buenos Aires, where we have immigrants from many surrounding countries. We built it.
Hear the word of the Lord. For this reason, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who wished to settle accounts with his slaves. When he began the reckoning, one who
You did it, copy machine. You're a wonder. Loyal, brave, trustworthy, reliable, successful. Copy machine. And now we will collate it. This is Glendora versus the New York Law Journal for taking money from Cablevision to write everything good about Cablevision and everything bad about Glendora, the public access movement, and public access. And is doing his meditation and listening to hymns. Katie is doing her usual, sleeping in a box.
Yeah,
Okay, press the red button.
yeah.
Now this is the collating. 70 pages. And we haven't decided whether it's better and cheaper and faster for Staples to do it. Press the red button.
These are the summonses in
Galgano versus James L. Dolan.
yeah,
And these are the summonses for James L. Dolan, Charles F. Dolan, Cablevision Systems Corporation. Who else? Charles
Emily
Former,
Forma,
Maurice Cunningham,
Mark Shukin, Brian McNeil,
Sadly Stevens, Burke and Burke,
Callaghan,
and Callaghan,
Bajur,
the liar for hire, and then the Texaco Group 2 defendants, Bajur, the CEO, Tim Miller, yeah, the board,
and the board.
and Texaco Corporation. Now where are you sending those? What's the address?
Paul DeVell, United States District Court, Eastern District of Missouri.
Who is he, clerk?
He's a clerk for CEJ.
That's Jackson, a woman, judge.
1114 Market Street, St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay, there's 4 hours work and $5. Consumer report. These are Pathmark cookies. Put them in the oven for 3 minutes, and they're just as if you baked them yourself. Over here, Glendora is scrutinizing the Public Service Commission, the seminar folder that they gave us on subtitle R9, subtitle R, and they're talking about books, records, and minutes that they get from Cablevision, and I want to know if I can get the books, records, and minutes from them. Over here, you have Franklin making 10 sets of the first 10 pages of Glendora's memorandum to the Public Service Commission. Glendora's been reading this material for 2 months and been writing about it for a week, requesting information. This weather is so crazy and so mixed up. We haven't seen the sun for 5 days, and here it is, raining on Monday. Sunday it was overcast. Saturday it was overcast. Friday it rained. Thursday it rained. Go west, weather. There's west over there. Go west. They need you. With 65 forest fires, they need you. Go west. She has her little gloves and her little sneakers so white, and her little vest. Weather's ruining August. Here it is, half of August is over, and we haven't had maybe but 2 or 3 days of sunshine. It's ruining August. August is a precious month. Mirror to the United States Court of Appeals, 3rd Circuit, Philadelphia, for their cheating the United States. Back is for any hungry pigeons that we meet. And there are the pumpkin. And that car gets to stay home. I think this Rose of Sharon is so pretty. This is a Mark V. It's a nice car. And the next year is when they made the Mark VI, the luxury car. And it was the first year of the 4-door Mark. See the opera window? See the Continental? Nice looking car. This is all our rubbish. So what does that tell you? That tells you that we have very good audio. I went to the BronxNet and I didn't see Jim Carney, and I was disappointed in that, and I don't think the people there at the front desk were very good about connecting Jim Carney and myself, telling Jim that I was there and telling me when Jim would be there. But the woman at the desk was very helpful with putting on the labels. It's hard for me to understand the BronxNet labels, but she helped me do that. And we went to Manhattan, and there was some good footage there that I should have taken for you, but the battery had run out. It only took from 12:45 to 1:30 p.m. To go from the Bronx to Manhattan to Brooklyn. And it was a good picture, wonderful picture of the guard at BCAT. I just wanted to show you that one so much. He was sound asleep like that in his chair. I could have got a good picture of that. And they have a new public access studio in Brooklyn. Isn't that wonderful? And I met with John Ribeiro. I think he's terrific. He has the spirit of public access. I think I came across the person who wasn't there at 6:45 and should have been that Monday night when I should have had my tapes and they just weren't given to me. And the guard at the desk was no good. And John gave me a box of tapes. The tape, it was a copy box like one of these. And it was filled with 10 VHSs, super VHSs, a chat with Glendora, and a whole bunch of 3 or 4 great big 3/4-inch tapes for Lori Galgano, The Hidden Truth. At 2:35 p.m., we headed for Westchester, and there was a big boat I wanted you to see on the East River. I wished I'd had my camera for you, and we passed Yankee Stadium. You would have liked to have seen that, particularly you people who are out in Los Alamos and Santa Fe, and you people in Buffalo. We got to the White Plains Post Office, and we went to Brad Sachs, my lawyer friend. Yes, I actually do have a friend who's a lawyer, and he notarized a paper, and I went into Value Drugs in White Plains to get whiteout. I make a lot of mistakes, and they wanted $1.80 for a bottle of whiteout. Well, that's no good. Let me see what this one was. Well, they don't have the price on it. This is a three-pack, and I don't think it was more than like a little under, well, $3 and something. Gasoline was 11.3 gallons, and that's all you got for $20. Now, when is this going to stop? And we went down the Bronx River. I wanted to show you a picture of that. And we labeled a chat with Glendora and planned the editing and charged the battery and rotated the tapes. And we slept on the front porch because it was so hot and humid. But then it rained every day after that. I have never seen anything as crazy as this rain. It should be out west. Go west! We made the menu for the week and made the grocery list. And Franklin went to the grocery store all by himself, and he got home. He didn't leave until 11:30, and he did the other errands, and he got home by 5:30. And the Glendora versus the New York Law Journal, I will have to read you that. It was 70 pages long. This is a situation where the New York Law Journal said everything good they possibly could about Cablevision and said everything bad they possibly could about Glendora and about the public access movement. And so they are being sued for, I think, $60 million. A boy goes down the street with a boombox. I don't understand that myself, do you? Why doesn't he simply get an earplug? We don't want to listen to it. Franklin brought home 11 bags of groceries. Glendora did 50 calls while he was gone. And those are the things I wanted to videotape for you, and I did it. Here's a sales card for AT&T telling us to hurry up and cash the $50 check. Well, we will never have AT&T for long distance. They were so mean to us when they were the monopoly. And it was Mr. McGowan who broke up the monopoly. And ever since then, I've been an MCI customer in appreciation. Mr. McGowan really gave his life for that. Here is a check for $39.57. And this is the cash out, cash in lieu of fractional shares and accrued dividends if applicable to Quest, QWEST Communications International Incorporated. They gobbled up U.S. West. And remember, I sued U.S. West because they bought Hostetter's Continental Cable TV, and Continental Cable TV took our programs off of TV every other Saturday. Diane Rainey did that, and I sued them. Here is an interesting check. This is for $133.15. This is for the parking ticket. New York City Parking Violations Bureau. You people in Los Alamos and Santa Fe, be lucky that you don't have to go to the Bronx. It is rip-off civil RICO. And my point on that, folks, is that all of those 3 tickets, those 3 summons, have been vacated. They sent them to the wrong address. The summonses were returned to the Parking Violations Bureau. They have a record of it. They knew they had the wrong address. They didn't go to the Department of Motor Vehicles, New York State, and get the right address. And so there they let it lay. And then some goony cop comes along and sees these 3 tickets, all of which have been vacated, and has the poor Lincoln towed, the 1980 Lincoln towed, and keeps it in prison for 6 or 7 days, and then charges us, exclusive of the tickets, charges us $309 for towing fees, for sheriff fees, for storage fees. Is that a civil RICO or isn't it? Well, I've been waiting for the commissioner, the deputy commissioner of the Parking Violations Bureau, to get back to me and refund that other $300. So far, he hasn't. So I think the thing to sue him. And if I sue them, then I can get the $300, but I can also get punitive, that they don't do it again to anybody, and compensatory damages. Because this whole thing has cost us something like 54 hours. And so that's where that one stands. Now, what else? Funeral planning. This is the material you will get from funeral planning if you call that number. A guidance statement, a guide for members, and instructions for the completion of your guidance statement. The completion of your guidance statement and its distribution to the proper parties will assure that your wishes are known and will be carried out. Supposing you have $25,000 in the bank when you die. Do you want that $25,000 to go to the funeral director? Well, I guess the highest they charge is now $7,500, but even if do you want $7,500 to go to a funeral director? That's very much what happens. If you tell people you want to spend your funeral, what you want your funeral, and have it all laid out so that when you do die, people will know that they are carrying out your will. We hope you agree with the aims of the Funeral Consumer Information Society of Westchester and look forward to welcoming you to membership in the society, the officers and directors of the society. Encloses a membership form. Well, I don't see that. Oh, yes. Here it is. It's very simple. If you live in Westchester, call the Funeral Consumer Information Society of Westchester. If you live in another county, you will find a similar society. So call, because you don't want everything to be a mess after you die. and it's only considerate for the people who are left, because they are in grief that you have left them, and to have to spend their time doing funeral arrangements. All you got to do is do it yourself now. Job at cashing out my stock than did TCI and AT&T. Much better. AT&T really ripped us off, and TCI. Quest was bad. They ruined U.S. West Telephone, Trujillo, Sol Trujillo. But at least they took care of your fractional share better than AT&T did, and TCI. I was telling you about a White Plains hero, Alexander Hamilton, to a White Plains scoundrel, John P. de Blasi, who was caught. Instead of being in the courtroom for 31 mornings, he was caught by Gannett and Bruce Golding to be in Connecticut Broadcasting School taking a course in becoming a broadcaster. And I called de Blasi's chambers. It's here on the audio tape. I'll play it for you. And I said, is de Blasi there? And the woman says, no, he's in court. And I said, really? He's in court for a change? And then I asked the woman if he'd been fired yet, and she said no. This ends a chat with Glendora, White Plains, and Harris, and Los Alamos, Santa Fe, and West Seneca. Nobody official in that town for you to pay it to. Folks, I wore yellow to church today, and the church bulletin was yellow. Isn't that pretty? A monarch butterfly. Whoever believes has eternal life. Those were good scenes of church that we had on other programs. This is a check, folks, for 1 cent. I thought that was quite remarkable. Again, this is from Quest, the company that took over U.S. West. So, there's something like a fractional share, and that's what it was worth. They said 1 cent. So I got a check for 1 cent. So I deposited it in the bank. Gave it to Franklin, he deposited it in the bank. Now you remember how we went into the Uniondale Courthouse on February the 18th, 1997? It's about 3.5 years ago. And this insane Pinkerton named Kenneth H. Mildworm beat up Franklin and Glendora. He inflicted 6 bruises on Glendora, and he socked poor fragile Franklin, 78 years old, on the jaw, and both of us ended up on the floor. Well, that case is still going on. It was a case of 53 conspirators, and what they did to the United States of America. And the oral argument is coming up in the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. And they give a pro se 5 minutes only. Now that is discrimination. That is violation of free speech. If you're a lawyer, they'll have 15 minutes or they'll have 20 minutes, whatever. But they give a pro se 5 minutes. So we've got to do something about that someday. After this is over, maybe we'll sue them for that. We certainly will. Let me make a note of that. Hold on just a second. Sue U.S. Court of Appeals Second, 5 minutes pro se. Discrimination. So here is my oral argument. You have to picture it that the plaintiff stands over here and there's a great big TV set so that the people in the back can see your face as you're facing the 3 judges. And over here is the defendant, or the appellee, the appellant and the appellee. I'm the plaintiff, I'm the defendant and the appellant, and over here is the plaintiff and the appellee. And his name is Edgardo Ramos. And he's a crook. He's a United States attorney, U.S. attorney assistant. And so I am going to say to these 3 judges, standing before you is a man who made up a story, who used taxpayer funds to orchestrate 3,996 lies, who betrayed the United States of America, and who used the government's tools to protect himself and his friends instead of to protect the public, you. Edgardo Ramos calls himself the government. Well, he is the anti-government. But you are used to that. This is not the first time an assistant U.S. attorney has lied, stolen, and cheated. Edgardo Ramos has lied under the flag of the United States of America. Edgardo Ramos has lied before God. He has no personal knowledge of what happened February the 18th, 1997, 9:20 a.m. to 9:35 a.m. He was not there. Everything he tells you was removed once, twice, thrice from the scene. He cheated on discovery. Glendora had a federal rules of procedure right to discovery. He cheated on that. And Azraq cheated with him. Who is Azraq, folks? She's the United States magistrate judge. Why are United States judges afraid of United States attorneys? U.S. attorneys can ruin judges' careers. Now this judge only a magistrate, was scared stiff of this U.S. attorney. She bowed to his every whim. She stooped to his level. She obsequiously acquiesced to his every violation of an American's rights. All judges do this at conferences, motions, and sidebars. But this one, Joan M. Azraq, was up for reappointment. Her 8 years were up in 3 months, so she capitulated to Ramos's every whim, every lie, every injustice. Like Edgardo Ramos, Joan M. Azraq sold her soul before my eyes. They sold their soul for a madman, Bruiser Ken, a 240-pound hulk, 50 years old, who socked a frail male, 78 years old, 125 pounds, in the jaw and sprawled him on the floor. Frail male, will you please stand up? Franklin, will you please stand up? Azraq Ramos, Robert Levy, Aileen Ross, Marilyn D. Goh, and Eugene M. H. Nickerson sold their souls for punked Kenneth H. Mildworm, who was canned 1.5 years later. Pinkerton lost the contract, and Glendora takes full credit. Glendora and Franklin have told you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and always have, so help them God. Edgardo Ramos and those mentioned super and the rest of the 54 conspirators never have told you the truth. The raison d'etre of these courts is to ascertain the truth. The evil Eastern District of New York failed atrociously. It is taxpayer waste and abuse of authority. Glendora never committed a crime in her life. She complains about and exposes crooked lawyers and corrupt judges. That is not a crime. That is patriotism. The real criminal is Edgardo Ramos, Bruiser Ken, and the entire civil RICO of 54 conspirators in the evil Eastern District of New York. 42 U.S. Code Section 1983 and Section 1985, and 18 U.S. Code Section 1963. 1983 is that if anybody who works for government violates your rights, that anybody is liable to you. Don't forget it. That's your civil rights. And 1985 is conspiracy. They conspired against you. And 18 U.S. Code 1963 is a civil RICO. The crimes against Glendora are pellucidly delineated in hundreds of pages to you, which you, not clerks, have a USA duty to read and intercept. First Amendment retaliation, robbery of due process, robbery of Fourth Amendment right to an oath sworn to under penalty of perjury. Kwiatkowski, FBI, did not do that. Robbery of Fourth Amendment right to probable cause, speedy trial, deferred prosecution, a summons instead of a false arrest, a complaint of truth instead of a complaint of lies, ambush, discovery, waste of her and every American's taxpayer money, personal frolic, no official duty, not a federal officer, a cop for rent. That's all these Pinkertons are, retired New York City policemen out for rent. No outside witnesses, no physical evidence, no audio tapes, no videotapes, no photographs. Robbery of my witnesses, they wouldn't let my witnesses take the stand. Intimidation of jurors, forcing Glendora to take a legal advisor when she did not want one, and who, as you see today, is too cowardly to show for oral argument, Stuart Grossman. Then we have to add another one, that I had a right to a United States District Judge. This is by the Constitution of the United States, an Article 3 judge. Instead, Azraq was a magistrate, and so she robbed me of that right. This bunch of 53 hoods lied, stole, and cheated. All of them applauded the unmanliness of 6 bruises on a 71-year-old woman and punching a frail 78-year-old man on the jaw. Both victims ending up on the floor. They bent the system backwards, a retroflex, it is called, to protect themselves and not the public. Do not think we, the public, do not know what is going on. We do. Glendora gets calls every week from victims of corruption in the courts. The nemesis nears. The end of the rope is here. Listen to Ramos' cheap offer. If Glendora will plead guilty, Franklin can go free. Outrageous, ridiculous, preposterous. There have been 210 TV reports on this betrayal to America. Glendora is on 23 cable systems, Montauk, New York to Portland, Oregon. It was a horrible experience, but we are glad we were called to expose it. Now, God is watching you, talking to these judges. What are you going to do? Betray the United States of America as did Edgardo Ramos and his 53 conspirators, or be a patriot and depurate the courts? These 54 have only made fools of themselves. Now Cassidy, that's Franklin's legal aid lawyer, has done her work well as it can be within these constraints. She calls for a retrial and proper guideline sentencing. Glendora asks for total and consummate reversal and to vacate and for full restitution of $23 million punitive and compensatory damages, the cost of this action, and immediate discharge of Ramos and his gang of gangsters. Portland, Oregon. Please sponsor Glennie. We need somebody out there to sponsor. We're very proud of Portland, Oregon. And all the folks here in the Northeast think it's wonderful what you've been doing. So don't stop it. Find a sponsor. If you must have a sponsor, please find one. We sent out the application. It's supposed to get there today, the 14th. Or we sent it from New York on Saturday, early in the morning. Folks, here's a great hymn. I played it for you many times, done by accomplished artists, vocal and instrumental. It's Blessed Assurance, Justifying Grace. And it's written by, the words are by Fannie J. Crosby, 1873. And that's terrible. The music is by somebody else, 1873. Oh, that's too bad, because the music is superlative. Blessed assurance, Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine. Heir of salvation, purchase of God, born of his Spirit, washed in his blood. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all the day long. Now folks, here's a new bunch of judges to sue. This is in the United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit. That's Philadelphia. The Second Circuit is New York. First Circuit is Boston. And this is Glendora, plaintiff appellant versus Daniel Philbin, New York State Department of Motor Vehicles, Michael O'Rourke, Sergeant Kelly, City of New Rochelle, and Edward Everett, defendants appellees. These are all a bunch of liars and a bunch of fugitives. Notice of motion and motion that the United States Court of Appeals Third cease forthwith the phonies, the stalls, the theatrics, the frenetics, and get down to their call to meet justice. There is no justification anywhere in the world that the course that has not done its work on Glendora versus Philbin. Horrible injustices were done, and this court has failed in its protection of citizens' rights. Glendora wants out of the grime of these Philadelphia courts. Actually, you have failed to execute, and Glendora really wins. Glendora has won all her relief because you have failed to rule on a motion in 60 days. Supporting paper is Glendora's memorandum affixed here too. Glendora is unopposed and wins by default. Dated White Plains, New York, August the 12th, 2000, Anno Domini. Yours in truth, Glendora. And this is the bunch of crooks that this lawsuit was brought against to clean out the courts and to make the courts a place for you to find justice. They have robbed your courts, folks. Anything bad happens to you, you go to court, you're not going to get justice. It's dead. They've killed it. They've murdered justice. Received by Glendora on August the 9th, 2000. Memo endorsed by Glendora on August the 11th. United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit, number 99-1713, Glendora Appellant versus Eugene H. Nickerson, Law Clerk Hillary, Law Clerk Indira, Marilyn D. Goh, Todd J. Manister, Michael J. Goldberger, Zachary Carter, Robert W. Sweet. These are all crooks. Nira Stacy, Lawrence Nevins, Rachel Godsell, Mary Jo White, Alan G. Schwartz. I have personal knowledge that every one of these people has lied and betrayed the United States of America. Ralph K. Winter, George Lands III, Carolyn Clark Campbell, Lucille Carr, Robert Rodriguez, Guido Calabrese, Milton Pollock, Christopher F. Droney, Gladys Kessler, and law clerk. Norma H. Johnson, Nancy M. Mayer Whittington. These people are in the District of Columbia. George A. O'Toole, Jr., Tony Anastas, John P. de Blasi, L.C. Schwersky, his law clerk. U.S. West, Richard D. McCormick, Charles Lillis, Joseph Panio, District Rent Administrator, New York State Division of Housing and Community Renewal. Joseph Lynch, the Acting Director, George Pataki, Janine Pirro, Frank Carroll, Robert Jackson, Elliot Spitzer, John M. Dolce, he's a Commissioner of Public Safety, White Plains. Joseph Delfino, White Plains Common Council, David B. Santelli. These are people in the U.S. Court of Appeals in Washington, D.C. Harry T. Edwards, Douglas H. Ginsburg, Garland, Circuit Judge, Patricia M. Wald, Mary Ann Trump Berry, that's the United States District Judge in New Jersey, John P. Dunn, a Supreme Court Justice in Nassau County, or Injustice, and Thomas P. Griesa, the former Chief Judge of the United States District Court, Southern District of New York. These people have all betrayed the United States of America, and I read to you a long time ago what the causes of actions were against them. Glendora says, 1, you don't say defendants, appellees. They just leave the caption right there. They don't put down defendants, appellees. 1, Glendora says, look at all these traitors to America. 2, you let them go. 3, why? You are just like them. 5, shame on you. 6, this is the last document Glendora needs to sue you all. 7, you betrayed the United States of America. You forsook your oath. That's apostasy. And you were forever doing it. It is so horrible, it took you a long time to stomach it. And this is what their order says. Now listen, this is not simpleton. The petition for rehearing filed by appellant Glendora in the above entitled case, having been submitted to the judges who participated in the decision of this court, and to all the other available circuit judges. I made a motion to them, petition en banc, to do it over again, and do it right, and do it honestly, and do it with America in mind. Decision of this court, and to all the other available circuit judges of the circuit in regular active service, and no judge who concurred in the decisions having asked for a rehearing, and a majority of the circuit judges of the circuit in regular active service not having voted for rehearing by the court en banc, the petition for rehearing is denied by the court, and it's signed by, we don't know. Can you read the signature? Now, he should know enough, this judge. When he writes that badly, he should know enough to print his name underneath. All the rest of us have to, but he doesn't. So Glendora continues about this. You know that God is watching you. You know Glendora is watching you. You know the TV public, that's you, is watching you. Every United States district judge, every circuit judge is afraid of the U.S. attorney. You kid nobody but yourselves. We are on to you. Alternatives to the federal courts of appeal. There's a movement on, you know, for alternatives to the federal courts of appeal. You are a failure. You failed America. You failed the public. You failed the courts. You failed yourselves. You failed your family. We knew it. Glendora did her part when she found out Nickerson et al. Were dirty judges. She followed the law. She petitioned her government for redress of wrong. Glendora stands clearly before God. You failed God. It is again dirty judge protection, and you have been caught. It is lazy. You are fugitives. You are traitors to the public. That's you, the all-powerful public. We would rather be we than you. Glendora will sue you for the laws you violated. She will bring you around another court, another circuit, in a circle, so you have to face yourselves and your betrayal to the people. It is shoddy. Glendora holds a mirror to you. You see yourselves Dorian Gray. You are not as bad as the First and Fifth Circuits, but you match the second. Dirty judge protection, graphic on TV. There can be no worse existence than being a judge or a lawyer. You have stolen our government. Taxpayers want their government back. It has fallen into dirty hands. U.S. courts are in a bad way, and we say so on TV. You are so deep in the squalor, you cannot extricate yourselves. No service list, no service on all parties. Court's paper is fatally defective. This order is really nothing. It's fatally defective because they haven't served the other parties. Defendants appellees did not appear. Glendora wins by default. Dated White Plains, New York, August the 11th, 2000. Anno Domini, yours in truth, Glendora. This is not the designated address, and I put my rubber stamp underneath it again. And this cost 3 hours and $6, and the total on trying to bring these New Rochelle crooks to justice has been 368 hours and $3,060. We have 3 minutes left on this program. So, the 8-year-old ran into the house and says, "Grandma, Grandma, Grandma, I dropped my lunch bag on the driveway and Dad backed the car over it." And Grandma said, "That's Wheels on Meals." And a man was worried about his fourth daughter getting married. And his friend says, "Why?" And the man says, "My first daughter married a man from Singleton, Missouri. They had one child. My second daughter married a man from Twin Oaks, Missouri, and they had 2 children. And my third daughter married a man from Three Rivers, Michigan, and they had 3 children." And his friend says, "Why are you worried about your fourth daughter?" And the man says, "Because she's going with a man from the Thousand Islands." And the little boy says, "Daddy, why does my big sister wear her blue jeans so tight?" And Grandpa says, "So? She can fit into her compact car." This is Route 287, across Westchester, turning off to White Plains. You know what the hutch is? The hutch is named after Anne B. Hutchinson, who was a spiritually inspired woman, and she had religious meetings at her house, and she was so good that the establishment got after her and exiled. So this is program number, public access program, Chat with Glendora, 2,790. That's not far from 3,000, is it? Started in 1972, 28 years ago. We were driving up the Hutchinson River Parkway, and I was telling the people about the Hutchinson River and the parkway, and the battery ran out. So I'll start again with you. The Hutchinson River Parkway was named after Anne B. Hutchinson, and she was a woman of tremendous spiritual inspiration. And she had meetings at her house, and she was so good at awakening souls that the establishment got after her, and they expelled her. I believe she was with Roger Smith in Rhode Island, and she ended up here in Westchester. She was born around 1680 or so, 1690, and she died around 1730 or so. She was about 51 years old when she died. The river was named after Hutchinson, the Hutchinson River, and then the parkway that comes along the river, it starts way, way down south, way, way, way down in the Bronx, and then it goes up to the Connecticut line, and it becomes the Merritt Parkway, which takes people through Connecticut. And this was the highway upon which David Letterman was caught speeding at 90 miles an hour and was arrested, was summoned. And that was around about 1 o'clock at night. You see, when he used to leave NBC, and he used to go up the Hutch. He lives in New Canaan, Connecticut. So he would go up the Hutch, and then he would go over the Merritt, and then he would go up, I think it's Route 127 or 135. No, it's not 127. Some Connecticut small town route, and go to his home in New Canaan, Connecticut. But he got caught this night, and it was by the Harrison, New York police. So that's the story in the Hutchinson River Parkway. It is not a very big river. It is not big at all. It's about this wide. Well, maybe twice that. In places, it's very narrow. And neither is the Bronx River. And the funny thing was that when General Burgoyne was having problems with George Washington, George III got very angry. And he said to Burgoyne, he says, "Take your ships and go up the Hutchinson River." Well, of course, he had in mind the Hudson River. One could not go up the Hutchinson River in a ship. Okay, now we have some Sunday footage for you. This is the cable TV journal, and this is for Sunday, the 6th of August, and it's the 10th day of rain. We had a good day yesterday. So I have some footage. The footage from church was really good. And now I have some audio tape to play you. And it's about this new lawsuit. I may read you some of it before we close the journal for today, about this new lawsuit, Glendora versus the New York Law Journal. And the person who wrote the article, and the publisher, and the owner, and the editors. And so I'll play you that audio tape first. Then maybe I'll read you some of the lawsuit. I finished the public service folder. You know, the great big fat folder? It has about 20 booklets in it, and I've been reading them for the past 2 months, and I finished reading them today. Now what I have to do is go through them and look at my marginalia and put out a composition to the Public Service Commission of the State of New York, telling them that they should update these books. First of all, that they are very, very good, and it's very valuable for you, a cable TV subscriber, to know about these things. But they should update them, and there's considerable error and anachronisms and archaisms, if there is such a word, things that are archaic. And so I finished it, and a note is said to that effect. Finis. Glendora has read everything in the folder given to her by the Public Service Commission at the seminar June 13, 2000, White Plains. This is about 20 books, but there was no copy of Public Service Law, Section 229. No cable operator shall limit or prohibit public access. No municipality shall limit or prohibit public access. And the Public Service Commission cannot limit or prohibit public service. But I have caught them doing that, the Public Service Commission, and that just may be a lawsuit if they don't resolve it. Now, all members of the Commission should go forth and do likewise. Read every one of these papers. The out-of-dates, the wrong labels, the anachronisms, and the archaics should be expurgated. Now, my next job on this, folks, is to go through every book that's in that great big fat folder and read the marginalia, write an opening paragraph, an opener to the Public Service Commission, and then write down what should be done. Now, the audio tape. Werner Wolf says, let's go to the videotape. I say, let's go to the audio tape. Buchanan, they're not going to back Buchanan. And so he's going to the National Convention of the Independent Party in California. Let me start this one up for you. This is a report on Phil Goldstein. The audio tape ran out, so you can't hear the rest of the recording or the rest of the conversation. The tape ran out. We missed Phil Goldstein. He hasn't done anything about the lawsuit because the Independent Party is in a. They're not going to back. What's his name? And they're thinking of backing Ralph Nader. Buchanan. They're not going to back Buchanan. And so he's going to the National Convention of the Independent Party in California next week, he and Frank McGee. So it was too bad, and you missed his laughter over the joke of the day. He's a good audience. Hi, Paula. It's Franklin in Glendora, and Franklin wishes to thank you for the check, and it came through just fine. And today's joke is, why did the bunny rabbit ask to be changed into a goon within the next 24 hours? So you could be hair today and goon tomorrow. Take care. That's in Iowa. And that's very nice, a happy occasion. Ray Jameson. Ray Jameson. Bayshore. Bayshore.
Combating tyranny in America starts early. Please leave your message after the tone. It's a constant thing. May God bless America. And remember, pray to end abortion.
Hi, Ray. This is Glendora. 914-949-9495. You are doing great things out there in Suffolk County. You are fighting for right, and you are fighting to save America. And here's today's joke. Why did the bunny rabbit ask to be changed into a goon within the next 24 hours? So you could be hair today and goon tomorrow. This is Hickey, Deputy Commissioner, White Plains Police. He won't take my telephone calls. I don't know what he's afraid of.
Now, why is he afraid of Glendora, Hickey?
He's afraid of being sued, I guess, for making people make out a form when they want to picket on the sidewalk. But anyway, he's not answering now. So we've done the hour calls, and we've done the day calls. We did them for Monday, because we didn't have a chance. We did them for Wednesday. Tuesday we can't telephone because we edit it all day, chat with Glendora. We did Thursday's day calls. We did Friday's day calls. That's good. And we've done the month calls. There's a bunch of July August calls. My goodness, there's July and here it is August. And we do 10 of those a day. Next is the 8.5 by 11 calls. Miss Glendora, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Don't forget to watch me tonight at 10.
No, I will.
The front door, the driver's front door won't lock.
You probably, I never looked at that door, but you probably need an actuator there also.
Well, it was...
We didn't touch that door, Glendora.
Oh, I know that, but it was locked.
It probably just went.
It was locking. It was unlocking and unlocking before we did the others.
Well, one hasn't to do with the other. Bring it by, I'll take a look at it for you. Maybe I could see something, I'll try to fix it for you.
Okay.
Next time you're in the neighborhood, come by and,
Manchester
I don't know what
Law.
time you're in.
I'm
Stephen
here
Tulloch.
every afternoon except Thursdays.
Oh,
He lives in
But
Long Island
I
and he
have a
works in
feeling
the
it's the
Bronx.
actuator because, bring
Manchester
it by,
Law.
we'll look at it for you, okay? Whatever.
yeah. See, I can't get it to lock. Even when I do it manually, I can't get it to lock.
Probably the actuator, Glendora. Probably winch. That's my luck, you know?
Okay.
Alright? Bring it by, we'll look at it and then we'll tell you what your problem is.
Okay, I'll have to plan it, Steve.
Okay, let me know when, okay?
Okay.
Take care, so I'll look for you tonight.
Yeah. Why did the bunny rabbit ask to be changed into a goon within the next 24 hours?
Why?
So he could be here today and goon tomorrow.
Very good.
Okay, Steve.
Bye.
Bye.
Chats with Glendora. Cats with Glendora. Cats with Glendora.
Hi, you reached 982-9570. If you'd like to leave a message for Jeff or Pat, do so at the beep, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Patricia Brady, that is outrageous news that Jeff Bartels and Lance Armstrong were fired.
Gary
That
Bartell.
is just outrageous. You people are going through Hades over there. I would be interested in going to a UFO.
They do a
But you
program
didn't
on
give me the
UFO.
date, or the time. We really ought to talk. I mean, this is a horrible thing that's happened over there. You
You
people
really
need
ought to
support.
sue. I would sue.
When the next time you call, make an appointment. Give me a day and an hour and a minute when you'll be home, and I'll call you. We'll have to have some exchange here. And why did the bunny rabbit ask to be changed into a goon within the next 24 hours? So he could be here today and goon tomorrow. That ends the telephone call, 73 calls on August 4, Friday at 6:15 p.m.
I asked the minister in church this morning after we finished our prayers, if this was the time to announce the church bulletin bloopers. And he said no. So later on, I asked again.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Pretty good.
Good. Glad to hear that. In all this miserable weather.
Yeah.
There's sunshine in our hearts, right?
Yeah, there is. I wish this weather would go out to the northwest where they need it so.
Oh, I know. And
The animals are being burned to death.
even the south. And, yeah, look at, look, Glendora, I was watching the news this morning. Everywhere where we have our tapes, there's wildfires.
Yeah.
Hurricane now.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I hope they leave the cable studio alone.
Well, Los Alamos was a close call. Los Alamos was a close call.
Yes, I know.
Lori, will you get out your letter to Cablevision demanding the books, records, and minutes?
Yes, I will, Glenn.
Oh, that's great.
I'm on my computer now.
Okay, hon.
I think...
And guess what?
My husband.
What's that? Oh, you're on your computer for your husband.
I'm typing a letter for him right now. Very important.
I asked the minister when we were saying the prayers, and they pray for people, and then the congregation says, Lord, hear our prayers. And he seemed to be getting through with that and going into other things. And I said, so I rose and I said, is this the time to read the church bulletin bloopers? And the congregation giggled. And so he said, no. And so then he went off and a few other things. This is a conversation, folks, that's continued from the first edition. And it's with Lori Galgano, who is the producer of The Hidden Truth. And that's Ginny, you see, stretched out on desk 3. Boy, they do have the life. And this rain belongs in the northwest to help the animals. The forests are burning.
Right. I'm on my computer now.
Okay, hon.
I think...
And guess what?
My husband.
What's that? Oh, you're on your computer for your husband.
I'm typing letters letter for him right now. Very important.
I asked the minister when we were saying the prayers, and they pray for people, and then the congregation says, Lord, hear our prayers. And he seemed to be getting through with that and going into other things. And I said, so I rose and I said, is this the time to read the church bulletin bloopers? And the congregation giggled. And so he said, no. And so then he went off with a few other things, the prayers and a few other things. And then he started talking about joys and concerns and announcements. And then after 5 or 6 of those, I said, is this the time to read the church bulletin bloopers? And he says, yes, Glendora, go ahead.
And which one did you read?
Well, I read the one about don't complain, let the church help you. And then what was the second one, Franklin? Darn, Lori. What was the second one? I just put it away. And then I read the one that I couldn't read without laughing myself, and that's this being Easter Sunday.
I know.
Because, yeah, we have asked Mrs. Lewis to come forward and lay an egg on the altar.
I told my husband that, and Pat, she went hysterical.
And then he said, all right, Glendora. So after the service, I read some of my friends, the other 3 that I liked. I like the choir robes, the one for the choir robes, that we need new choir robes for the new choir members and for the deterioration of others. And the 8th grade will put on Hamlet, Shakespeare's Hamlet in the basement Friday. The congregation is invited to witness this tragedy. And what's the other one that we like so well, Franklin? Darn, I shouldn't have put it away. I mailed it to you, Lori.
Oh, did that? I didn't go to the post office yet.
That's all right. I mailed it to you, Lori.
We should have told them about the babies will be baptized on both ends.
That's right. That's right. That wasn't in there.
Let me tell you what that joke was. They said that they would have, the church bulletin said there would be baptisms and that there would be baptismal font at the front of the church, and there would also be one at the back of the church, and that the babies would be baptized at both ends.
Lori, so you can have it.
Very good.
All right. Here's Franklin.
Hello, Franklin.
What is it?
One, the bulletin board said the subject sermon topic this Sunday is what is hell? Come early and hear our choir rehearse.
I heard part of it.
Okay, the topic of the sermon this Sunday is what is hell? Come early and hear our choir rehearse.
Too much.
Lori, this is a windfall. I called up Thomas Garger and I asked him, are you going to go for the fight of the public access producers in Westchester, where 19 municipalities do not get system-wide public access? That's as if, Lori, 19 municipalities in Suffolk.
I misspoke. That's not Thomas Garger. It's Thomas Hillgartner. Excuse me, Thomas Hillgartner.
Did not get public access. Some of them did, but 19 didn't.
Oh, my God.
Yes. And so he demurred on that. And so I let that go. But a week or so later, I says, are you going to go to bat for me that Cablevision refuses to show me the books, records, and minutes, and I'm a shareholder? And he says, oh, that's one of my favorites. I will draft a letter for you tonight, and you send it to Cablevision demanding to see the books, records, and minutes. And when they refuse, you send it to me, and he's going to take them to court. Because you can take them to court ex parte on that.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that's why I would like very much for you to just send off your little pro se letter at the same time. You see?
Oh, 1 second, Glenn. Who is it, Pat? Who is it? Oh, I have to go take
Okay, and that'll make them crumble just a little bit more, see?
Get that out, honey.
Yep.
That goes to Beth Page.
Yes, it goes to, whom are you going to send it to? I think you should send a copy to Charles, get the initials right, F as in Fred.
Wait.
F as in Franklin.
1 second.
Dolan.
F. Dolan.
Yeah, Charles F. Dolan. And James L. Dolan.
And James
L. Dolan.
Dolan. Okay.
And Robert S. as in Sam. Lemley. L-E-M. Mary. L-E.
Okay.
Send out 3.
And what are the addresses on that?
1111 Stewart Avenue, S-T-E-W-A-R-T, Bethpage, New York, 11714.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm just sending it to those two?
That's right.
Okay.
And next, those 3.
Those 3.
You have trouble counting 2, huh? I can't get over 2 either. And then in 5 days, next week, go and see, come to see the books, records, and minutes I've demanded to see.
Okay. So
Good girl.
So next week.
Yeah, good girl.
And do I give them a date?
No, you don't have to. The law says automatically 5 days after they receive it, it has to be ready.
Okay.
And you have 1 week.
10 days after you receive this letter, I will be in.
That's right.
Yeah, but how do I know when they receive it? Just give them like 3 days.
That's right, or 2's enough.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'll say within 8 days I'll be in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right, and then I'll make it my business to go there.
Yeah, that's all. And they will get rid of you in a hurry. Don't
Okay,
worry.
I have to go take this call, honey.
You bet.
Thank you for calling. I love you both.
We do too.
See you tomorrow.
We love you too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wednesday, August 9, 2000, 10 a.m. Franklin got his newspapers out to recycle on time in the pouring rain that belongs to the forest fires out west. 10 o'clock. The specials are assigned. 6 specials. 3 go to Hauppauge System, Amy Galumbo, and 3 go to the Woodbury-Nassau System, Diane Bennett. Over here is Glendora versus Bruiser Ken. The inspiration this morning that came at 4:30. Here stands before you a liar, a thief, and a cheat, meaning Edgardo Ramos. And it's quite a lot written on it already, but it's just jot thoughts. It has to be incorporated into a legal paper. As you can see, there's quite a lot already. So that's due on September 7th, and you must come and hear this oral argument. So the specials are selected, 3 for Hauppauge and 3 for Nassau, Woodbury, whatever. The Nassau system, the biggest one ever. And so 3 are addressed to Amy Galumbo and 3 are addressed to Diane Bennett. And now you can see that Office 1 is all neat and tidy, and the 8mm work is done for a chat with Glendora. And Franklin's been working away on his affidavit of service. Will you read it to us, Franklin? I, Franklin F. Buell,
serve the within demand pursuant to New York State Business Corporation Law, Section 1301A, upon CSC Holdings Incorporated, Cablevision Systems Corporation, James L. Dolan, and Robert S. Lemley, by personally handing same to receptionist Marie DiGregorio. The date was August 8th, 2000, 12:30 p.m. The location was 1111 Stewart Avenue, Bethpage, New York, 11714. Marie signed my receipt, copy affixed here too. I have told the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. I am 81 years old. My address is given below. I am not a party to the action. Yours in truth, Franklin F. Buell, Box 416, White Plains, New York, 10602.
Very good. Thank you. This idiot was just here 5 days ago. He was here last week making all this noise. I videotaped him for you then. Up the hill by the water tower, Yonkers Cablevision. To pick up 4 and hand in 1. Cop cruiser right there, parked the wrong way, doing nothing. As soon as I got out with the camera, he left. But this is Cablevision Yonkers. Probably the prettiest sight of them all. Coming up the Sawmill River Parkway, a cop passed us on the right, endangering traffic. He had no motive, he had no reason at all. Up at the next turn off, he was going on to the non-parkway. Something the minute he saw that camera out away. I want you to see how nice and neat Phyllis keeps the
That's right.
the public access tapes. See how neat she keeps the office and how decorated. This is all by your own hand, isn't it, Phyllis?
That's right.
I remember this furniture from Yonkers Avenue.
It needs to be changed. Are we going to be on TV?
I told him the joke. Why did the bunny rabbit have to be changed into a goon within the next 24 hours? So you could be here today and goon tomorrow. Now it's south on the Sawmill, south to the Deegan, and then south on the Deegan to the Bronx. Wouldn't you like to have 3 feet of snow and a sled? Wouldn't that be fun to go down this? That's the Sawmill River.
Yeah.
Kind of little, isn't it? The man carrying those bags full of things uphill. This is the Bronx. And that's some of the towers at Lehman. One of them isn't bad enough, we have to have 2 of them. Tree is not on that man's property next door. And he comes over with presumption, and he cuts off all those beautiful tree leaves, new limbs. Now that's pretty presumptuous. This is August 10, 9 a.m. Thursday. He says the leaves come on his property. Okay, so take the leaves off of his property. But that doesn't give him a right to cross the property line. 4 feet. And destroy. He's rolling the branches he ruined into a fag and putting it on a tree belt. A man going through the garbage to get cans and bottles to get 5 cents for. Here it is, $133.15. New York City Parking Violations Bureau. And see, every one of those 3 tickets was vacated. And I had to pay, or Franklin had to pay, $300 to make them realize all the mistakes they had made. And I think that $300 should be refunded also. Don't you? This is a neat copy machine. It must be almost 3 years old. And it's a Canon. This is a Consumer Report. It's a Canon just the way this camera is a Canon. And it just does wonderful work. There's Ginny Cat sleeping upside down again. Sometimes she has all 4 hands and feet into the air. Hours later, folks. Now why is that a good bed for a cat? Why does that meet with a cat's approval? Katie eating her corn. She loves corn. Particularly if you put Romano on it. Ginny likes to eat corn too. Right, Ginny? She heard her name. That's why she jumped to attention. This is Friday morning, August 11, early, 6:45, and I had to stop my work, meditate, create, that got behind 7 days, and then I had to go feed them. Again. Katie emptied her dish. Ginny finished. She didn't want any more. And now Katie's coming over and eating Ginny's leftovers. Katie, she didn't want that, so you can have a nice clean dish. When Katie was a baby kitten, she was so cute. She loved ravioli. Cheese ravioli, and frozen, and I'd cook her 2 or 3, and she just loved them. But now I can't get her to eat them. She likes to eat competitively. She likes to eat side by side another cat and see if she can't out-eat the other cat. And small as Ginny is, she weighs about 18 pounds. Katie is about the heaviest of all, though. And Penny's doing a little better. She used to be so frail and so light. Well, she was rescued from the woods where somebody dropped her. Franklin did a remarkable job yesterday on the errands. And this was Wednesday. And everything is done on Wednesday except Citizens Against Tolls. I would like to ask you to get a piece of cardstock, and write on it, "We hate tolls," or that's their website, We Hate Tolls, or just write on it Citizens Against Tolls and put it up at your rear window every time you pay a toll. We had another drenching rain last night, thunder and lightning. We don't need any more rain. The poor people out west need the rain. 65 forest fires. When the poor 1980 Lincoln started up very hard. And so many things have happened Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday that I haven't had time to tell you. And this is Saturday morning, August 12th. We have to go in 2 cars because we still have to fix the door locks in the 1980. The driver's front car will have to do the errands while the 1980's in the hospital again. These buttercups cute. I found out this isn't a squash, it's a pumpkin. Look at the size. This is my hand. Look at the size of these blossoms. What an amazing creation. Beautiful color. Not a good bank anymore. Chase has them beat. There, we're going to put this sign in our rear window at every toll booth. And what's the next sign, Franklin? There's the great car in front of you. The Lincoln Continental Mark VI. See the Continental written on the spare tire protruding from the trunk cover? And can you see the Mark VI? Right there, Mark VI. And it's a Signature Series, which was the top of the line in 1980. Here we are again at Baychester Lock in the Bronx. I can't make this door lock. Baychester Locksmith. I made it. I got the crawler over the fence into the dog's pen. Down there, honey. Yeah, down there. Daddy's your crawler. Bunny bought it for you. And I got it into the right pen. Okay? Yes, you sweetie. You little sweetie. Yes. Oh, there you are. There's your crawler. This is where Rusty is. I'm trying to get him home. I'm going to show you the White Plains Beautification Committee, how they made a big basket. Downtown, big basket of flowers. He looked at me. Concordia School. No. Sisters of what? Divine Compassion School. Broadway. White Plains. This is Pace University. These Sisters of Divine Compassion lease some of this land to Pace University. See here.
franchise holders, like you, the town of Oyster Bay, and the town of North Hempstead, and the town of Hempstead. And so now we are up to page 18. And page 18 is again being Pace University, August 12, Saturday. Here's the chapel. And stop, I want to thank them. Thank the guards. Chad Franklin says it's like our fireplace. This is Foyer's store. Office Max. White out. He won't take calls. Look at the people walking around with the big shopping bags full. Michael Foyer's name is on the front of Office Max. He won't even take calls when it's a good call. That one order that was in front of me, it cost $166. Now without the 20% off, shopping bag in there, and if you take the, and it's not a shopping bag, it's a brown paper bag, and if you fill it up, you get 20% off. And Michael Foyer's name is on the bag, and Nina was there. And she says she and Orleans are the only ones that are left. The clock, White Plains Railroad Station. White Plains Beautification Committee. Battle Hill, Battle of White Plains. This is where Alexander Hamilton became known to George Washington, and it started his rise. The British marched up from Scarsdale, 5 miles up the post road. And all these little rubber men along here. This work is almost over. I wish they would pick up the rubber men and widen the road. This is the bridge over the Bronx River, and because it's a Robert Moses Parkway, it has to have this elaborate stone wall. When the British marched up here, the White Plains, the Battle of White Plains, George Washington, it was Halloween, October 1776. It was funny how those people with that great big $166 order, shopping cart full, saw me standing there behind them with one item. And it wouldn't say go ahead. We're going through the Garth Woods now. Everything is so green because of the excess of rain. The other bridge they fixed, and thank heavens that one's done and people are gone. Bronx River is right there, but everything is so lush green you can't see it. Look at those pretty purple flowers. This is the Hutchison Parkway, and Anne Hutchison's dates are 1591 to 1643. Watch the door locks, folks. See that? And now it's locked. Hooray! $45. Wrong, it needed an actuator. But I have 5 actuators now. 3 of them are no good and 2 of them are. Now you remember the 3 blossoms I showed you? The 3 pumpkin blossoms?
were so big. Look at them now. All closed up. Now how do they do that? Do they have muscles? Do they have ligaments? Do they have tendons? Do they have nerves? But they're all closed. Frank and I are in the process of finishing up Glendora versus the New York Law Journal. These pages have been copied. Those pages are to be copied. I've done the informa papyrus and the service by Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rule 4D. I've done the address list. What is next? Well, I can do the self-addressed stamped envelopes. Okay, and then I could do the big envelopes. And then we could make the master and finish printing it. Wrapping Lori Galgano's tapes, The Hidden Truth, and sending them back to her. I picked them up for her in Queens and in Yonkers. Staples copy paper makes wonderful wrapping paper. It's too good to recycle it. But the person who helps me do that at Staples is gone for a month. Sunday chore is the laundromat. They're washing, in addition, the rugs to the 1990s. So I'm going to go home and try to print some on Glendora versus the New York Law Journal. For not telling you, the public. Franklin said that he could put the laundry out of the washer and into the dryer. So I came home to make time on this, Glendora versus the New York Law Journal, to make 10 sets of about 60 pages. And I'm on page 34, so we're getting there. It has to be served tomorrow, Monday, August the 14th. This is a lot of work and a lot of time. Maybe we should get a bigger copying machine. But I won't go to Staples now, because the person I like to have copy things isn't there. All you can do is try it out, test it out, and get it done. A very fine copy machine. It's a Canon. This is a Consumer Report, just like this Canon product. This Canon camera. Franklin asked why didn't I see the editor and the editor-in-chief and a few others. No, this is the limit. He makes beautiful copies, as you can see. So this part of the job is to get it copied up to 40 pages. My mother taught me if you have a big job to do, to compart it. Make it into small jobs, and it'll get done that way. That's the way she used to do spring house cleaning, and she had great big houses, 14 rooms or more. The next compartment will be 41 to 55, and then 56 to the finish. And then stuff it in those 9 by 12 envelopes and seal it and serve it tomorrow. It's a tedious job, but it's a good opportunity to pray. Just as when you're waiting for red traffic lights. That's a good opportunity to praise and appreciate God and the wonderful world given. And to think of the things that you have to do for God. Over here are the papers to read to you. The videotaping is way behind. The cable TV journal is way behind. There's the last one of this group. And now, go back and get the laundry and rush to church.
At our figures, I received word this past week that a little tiny slum in Buenos Aires, a place where I worked for some time, in a situation near the harbor in Buenos Aires, where we have immigrants from many surrounding countries. We built a
For this reason, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who wished to settle accounts with his slaves. And the reckoning to one who owed
You did it, copy machine. You're a wonder. Loyal, brave, trustworthy, reliable, successful copy machine. And now we will collate it. This is Glendora versus the New York Law Journal for taking money from Cablevision to write everything good about Cablevision and everything bad about Glendora, the public access movement, and public access. Doing his meditation and listening to hymns. Katie is doing her usual, sleeping in a box.
Yeah.
Okay, press the red button. Now this is collating. 70 pages. And we haven't decided if it's better and cheaper and faster for Staples to do it.